how it goes with family. Hopefully you guys are having a great and exceptional day. It's been a minute since I've been live on here, but everything's shaking with the bone because my black butt is about to go home. You know what it is. So anyways, so let's talk about this Shannon Sharpe situation. It's unfortunate. It really is. He got fired from ESPN. And I was talking about this with some friends today, and I was just like, and it's not even just about him being at 50-something years old. And I'm not trying to dog Shannon Sharpe. This isn't a bashing Shannon Sharpe session. If that's what people think, you're on the wrong page for that. This is far from that. Quite the contrary. I will say at the end of the day is that it's disheartening with Shannon Sharpe's situation because he has so many, endorsement deals. He's got he's had to pay this woman millions of dollars. The OnlyFans woman, millions of dollars. And I before I even get into this, because I really didn't talk about it that much, it's like I said, I've been in Los Angeles enough. I'm going to LA next week. I've been to LA enough to be like, okay, and I'm not even tooting my own horn here. I'm a decent looking dude. I'm not Shannon Sharpe rich. But if women find me attractive in Los Angeles and I don't even live there and I'm not even a freaking superstar, then if you're Shannon Sharpe, you make millions of dollars, you're a celebrity. Why do you have to go to the OnlyFans woman? And I'm not knocking women who do OnlyFans, but I'm just like, you being who you are, why did you have to, when it comes to just having sexual fun, why is this the only one? I'm like, I'm sure there's plenty of young women out there that would love to be with you and have the opportunity, but that's just what blew me. I just can't fathom it. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I really have to hit the nail on the head on the nail on that one. It's just like, why, brother? Why? That's number one. Number two, people keep forgetting that, sex as a whole has brought down, it's joined kingdoms and it's brought down kingdoms. And it's slowly deteriorating Shannon Sharpe's kingdom. When his kingdom was, growing in a vast way, in a very fast pace, in a great way, because of his image. Between the whole going live on Instagram, ironically, I'm live on Instagram right now. Going live on Instagram, didn't realize it because he was quote unquote, he was in the moment sexually with a female. And then this, I'm just like, I really want the young guys to be like, see, look, one thing is true. If you don't handle your sexual business will handle you. If you play it loose out in these streets, when it comes to, having sex, you can end up with diseases, you can end up with kids, you can end up losing everything. And that's just deep and that's real. And I'm not perfect by far, I'm not casting stones. I've done dirt in my life, I'm definitely not an angel. But that's why I said this is not a judging Shannon Sharpe moment. But I don't think having sexual fun is worth taking down my financial empire. And I'm not even at his level. So, and I know he's saying to himself, for those couple of minutes or hours of fun, I lost millions of dollars. And it's like, and the sad thing is, it's like he might as well should have been gambling in Las Vegas, because it's like, how they say the house always wins. But when it comes to sex, the poorest person in the bedroom is going to win, especially if that person's gunning for a rich celebrity. And now we see that has happened. And the fact he lost a job with ESPN, like I said, not only losing a job, I don't know all the details. I'm speaking hypothetically here. Allegedly, he could lose a multitude of endorsements. Just because, and the thing is, him being in the sports industry, he knows that because there's clauses in the contracts when it comes to entertainers and athletes. Moral clauses, things of that nature. And if you violate these clauses, you can lose your contract, you can lose your job. And I just, like I said, I don't understand the old idea behind I gotta, go out of my way to be having sex with a bunch of females, and just because that's what I'm into. And the thing is, it's like, okay, if that's what you're gonna do, why not do that with females at your level? I remember Monique told Shannon Sharpe, do not leave these young girls alone. These young girls are going to get you in trouble. She said, get your older, mature woman. They're going to treat you right. They're going to treat you good. And they're going to have less drama for the most part. Because everybody comes with a little bit of drama. I don't care what age you are. Everybody has a little bit of something. Just don't be overtly crazy with it. But the moral of the story is, he allowed this young woman to take down, I believe she's 19 or 20 years old, to sabotage his economic empire. And I believe she put on out there in social media that, I'm officially retiring from OnlyFans now. I said, yeah, with $15 million, I'm sure it might be $10 million or $12 million because the lawyers are going to get a cut. But yeah, $15 million later, yeah, I retired from my job too. And that's why I said that's the sad part about this whole ordeal. That he allowed this to happen. I can't even fault the young. They say you don't hate the player, hate the game. So it's like you in your 50s, she's 19, 20 years old. And it's just like I can't stress it, and you know better. Especially being an athlete for all these decades, being in the entertainment industry, you know what it is. And then losing not only losing money, be a settlement. Because one of my friends was like, well, it's a good thing he didn't fight it in court. I would have fought it. That just would have been me. I know he paid it off because he wanted this whole thing to go away. But the thing is, this is another thing people have to take into consideration. What if women he's talked to beforehand come out and say, he raped me, he did something to me? Because, he paid her, that means he can pay me. Real stuff. Serious business. Nothing to mess around with. Not a game. It's not a game, family. Today's word of the day is recant. Stands for if you're someone who speaks before they think, you may need to recant. That's just real. Hold on. That's just real. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm just making sure. I'm sorry, I was hearing something in the background. But yeah, man, it's just like at the end of the day, let's make sure. All right, cool. At the end of the day, man, it's just like, that's real, and it's sad that this is going on, but he put himself in this precarious position, and I wish him the best. That's why I said this is not a bashing Shannon Sharpe session. This is I wish him the best, but this is really young men learn from this situation. No matter how much paper you have, people can take you down. And this is why I would never want to be a celebrity. I wouldn't mind having the money that a lot of successful celebrities make, but I would never want to be a celebrity just because of all the other extra crap that comes with being a celebrity. And you having to really watch your P's and Q's even more so being a celebrity because you're always in the public eye. You're in the public, it's more, because you're in the public eye outside of just being on social media. So I'm on social media. I'm not a celebrity, so it's just like, but, this is a lesson to the young guys. It's like, stop impregnating females that you don't want to build a future with. Stop messing with females like that you don't want to build a future with. Stay focused on your goals and aspirations. Because I remember Shannon Sharpe was talking about, I forgot who he was talking on his Club Shay Shay podcast. But he was talking about, there's so many things I want to get done. There's so many goals. He's like, this is just the beginning. This is a new beginning for me. And it's slowly being shut down because of this situation. It was like, was it really worth it? Like I said, nowadays, I get why some people become celibate now, and I already know, from that aspect, and I get why people just leave people alone, because a lot of people are just, unfortunately, most people are filled with drama, cunning, conniving, shady individuals that you just don't want to vibe with. You know what I'm saying? I totally get that nowadays. People, you just be like, you know what, I'm straight. Because people just, a lot of people just have so much shadiness going on that they only have their own interests at hand, and they have no real good intentions towards you. They just want to utilize you and suck you dry like a tick, or eat you alive like a piranha and whatnot. So, and that's real, and that's a lot of people. And what's the old saying? A devil in sheep's clothing. That's real. Okay, that's real, and that exists. Devil in sheep's clothing. Something you got to watch out for. It's definitely going to storm today. I can see it. Something to look out for. Devil in sheep's clothing. So that's really all I wanted to say. Is just like, was it really worth it? Fellas, is it really worth it? Ladies, is it really worth it? Like I said, I get why a lot of people go to celibate route. Oh, they finally fixed this road. I'm understanding that more and more now. It's becoming more and more crystal clear of why people are going the celibate route, why people are like, I'm straight, I don't need to deal with this nonsense, why people don't want to have less. Of course, people want to call me when I'm freaking live. People want to have less and less friendships and relationships and whatnot, because and it doesn't matter what income level you're at, don't matter what level you're at in life, somebody's always targeting somebody, It's like if you ever, even in a major city and you go to a gas station, unfortunately most gas stations now are convenience stores, you're going to see a good chunk of homeless people out there. I remember, I think it was like 2 years in Atlanta, a guy came up to me and said, "Oh, you want me to pump your gas, for some money and whatnot." And I didn't even realize the homeless population was that bad in Atlanta. But traveling the country the last 5 years, the homeless population is bad all over the country, no matter what state you're in. I've seen it from San Antonio to Houston to Dallas to Austin to Atlanta, DC, Los Angeles, Portland, Seattle. It's all the same, Yeah, it's just like, no matter what town or city you're in, it's a growing thing. So, but anyways, at the end of the day, is it really worth it? Let me know in the comment section. Do you think that more and more people, celebrities, especially in today's world, are going to be targeted by other people? Because it's not like, because my friends were talking about this, and they was like, "Well, remember Tupac?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I remember." When he got targeted, that was the only way he was able to get locked up, was when a woman said they deemed that he didn't rape her, but they said he inappropriately touched her, I believe. And then Mike Tyson, the same thing. He spent 2.5 years in jail because he invited a woman to his hotel room and she said he raped her. And bear in mind, I'm not talking bad about females and anything of that nature. I'm saying, because I can't stand a woman that lie about rape, because then that messes up the whole thing for women who actually go through these sort of traumas, and they can't get help because people think they're lying. So that's why I can't stand a person lying about something serious like that. Don't ever lie about rape or molestation. That's just not cool. Let's just keep it real. So that's definitely something that's just not cool whatsoever. But the people that that lie about this, and then unfortunately there's no punishment for people lying, like that. Especially, unfortunately, people find out about the lie once it's reached a statute of limitations. So the district attorney can't prosecute the person for lying about a situation like that. So, and if they could, hey, I'm not going to act like I'm a lawyer. So I'm not, I'm just going off of the little bit of research I've done and what I've heard and whatnot. But either way, it's a jacked up situation, and I'll leave it at that. So, anyways, was it worth it, Shannon Sharpe? Losing millions, losing your job, possibly losing current or future sponsorships, tarnishing your name for a couple of minutes or a couple of hours of pleasure. I think in today's world, it's kind of like I'm seeing more and more videos of OGs, men in my age range, the 40s and 50s, and people ask them, questions and say, "Hey, what was the worst decision you ever made?" And a lot of times, not all the times, but a lot of times they'll say getting married. Worst financial decision I ever made. Because, or one guy even said, worst financial decision I made was getting divorced. And so the guy that was talking to him was like, well, why you say that? He's like, because if I would still be married now, I'd be happier, but I wouldn't be happy. He said, but I'd have more money in my pocket and more money within my assets. And that's just, that's real right there. A lot of times, women wonder or get perturbed, best way to put it. They get perturbed because they don't know, they wonder why a lot of men don't want to get married in today's world. And it's very simple. They don't want to get married just because they find, they don't want to have to split anything with a female. It's not about love and being faithful and nothing like that, because you don't need a piece of paper to love somebody and be faithful. Let's be clear on that one. Let's dismiss that lie, okay? But Because if a person's going to cheat on you, a lot of my formerly married women can tell you that, and formerly married men can tell you that. If somebody's going to cheat on you, they're going to do it, whether you got a piece of paper or a ring or not. You know, that's irrelevant. Okay, but yeah, it's like, but once that marriage is off, it's like it's a corporation in the United States of America, so you got to make that choice. So that's why a lot of guys, you know, opt out of that, and I understand why the female's like, well, you're not going to get married, I ain't going to be with you. And they're like, all right, have a nice life, or vice versa. You know, because I met women that had to pay men. Like, I met 3 women in my life who actually had to pay their ex-husband's alimony because they made more money than their ex-husbands. I'm like, wow. It's a cold game, but everything's a financial decision in the United States of America. And when I talk like that, it makes people mad, but at this point in my life, I don't care. So, anyways, on that note, family, I'm done. Do the great thiefy things, like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day. Make money moves on your going to live like fools. Say in Spanish. Bienvenido a la vida. Welcome to the life. Take care.